We are worried about the fact that we see clearly that our government is bent on winning by all means. And unfortunately, they have a lot of means at their disposal to win. And they are deploying all those means in a way that eventually, even if we had a free and fair election, the votes of the people may not count.
A Catholic cardinal just said something most Nigerian politicians only whisper. He said the government of President Bola Tinubu is, in his words, bent on winning the 2027 election by all means. Not hopeful, not confident, bent on winning by all means. That face is doing a lot of work. So today, we are not just reporting what was said. We are going to slow it down. We are going to ask what all means has looked like before in Nigerian history. Who is pushing back, and why this fight between a cardinal and a president tells more about our institution than it does about either man. Let's get into it, shall we? On a Friday night, Cardinal John Onaiyekan sat down for an interview on Arise Television's primetime program. Onaiyekan is not a random voice. He is the Archbishop Emeritus of the Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja, one of the most respected clerics in the country. He was reacting to a meeting that had happened days earlier. The leadership of the Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria had gone to the State House to meet President Tinubu directly. They read him a prepared address, and according to Onaiyekan, that address painted a picture of Nigeria that the president did not want to hear. A country bleeding economically, a country where insecurity is worsening, not improving. Onaiyekan says the president's response was telling. He says Tinubu suggested that in politics all is fair.
The position of Mr. President came very clearly in that statement that he made. In politics, all is fair. Is that true? If that is what politics is, that in politics everything can be done, provided you win election.
Well, clearly that's not correct.
That is not
that
correct.
Is what was...
That anything can be justified if it helps you win. And that single idea is what alarmed the bishop enough to go public. Here's the thing you need to understand if you're watching this from outside Nigeria. The relationship between the Nigerian church and Nigerian state has never been simple. Religious leaders here are not just spiritual figures. They are often the last independent institutions standing when political parties, courts, and even the press come under pressure. When the cardinal speaks about election, he is speaking into a long tradition of clergy acting as informal checks on power, going back decades through military rule and civilian rule alike. So when Onaiyekan raises the state intention of a one-party state, he is not throwing around a random insult. He is invoking one of the deepest fears in Nigerian political memory, the fear of a system where no real opposition survives long enough to matter. That is the historical weight behind the story. Now, no government simply absolves an accusation like this without responding. The special advisor to the president on media, Daniel Bwala, pushed back hard. His argument was narrower than you might expect. He didn't deny the meeting happened. Instead, he argued that Onaiyekan was speaking as a Catholic voice, representing Catholic concern, and should not be mistaken for speaking on behalf of all Christians in Nigeria. Notice what that response does. It doesn't engage with the claim of winning by all means. It reframes who has the standing to make the claim in the first place. This is a classic political move. When you can't easily deny an accusation, you question the credential of the accuser.
We told him our economy is not helping our poor people. He told us the economy is doing fine. Practically speaking, he told us quite clearly that he did not agree with us. Again, I said, we're not surprised. We didn't expect him to agree with us.
Onaiyekan's comments didn't stay contained to one interview. Other religious voices quickly joined in. Primate Elijah Ayodele of the INRI Evangelical Spiritual Church publicly backed the cardinal, warning that using material incentives to win votes would fail in 2027 because, in his words, Nigerians are hungry and angry. Meanwhile, away from the pulpits, something else is happening. Opposition figures are deep in coalition talk. Former political rivals are meeting behind closed doors, testing whether they can unite against a single candidate rather than splitting the vote the way they did before. So this story isn't just about one cardinal and one president. It is a signal of a wider mood. Clergy speaking more boldly and opposition politicians recalculating their odds. Here is where we zoom out, because the pivot report isn't here to tell you who is right. The real question isn't, was the cardinal correct? The real question is about incentives and institutions. When Bishop Onaiyekan warns that even a free and fair election might not count because of how deeply incumbency reaches into the system, he is pointing at something structural: the independence of the electoral umpire, the neutrality of the state resources, the machinery that any sitting government controls simply by being in power. Every incumbent in every democracy holds these tools. The real test of a democracy is not whether an incumbent has advantage. It is whether those advantage gets treated as normal, or whether institutions and citizens push back hard enough to keep the field level. That is the pattern worth watching as 2027 approaches, not the war of words between a cardinal and a presidency, but whether Nigeria's institutions can hold their ground under pressure from the very government meant to answer to them. So, here is what I will leave you with. A cardinal has accused a government of being willing to do whatever it takes to win. The government says he's overstepping his lane. Other clerics are backing him. Politicians are quietly organizing. None of that tells us who wins in 2027, but it tells us exactly what to watch for between now and then. If you understand Nigerian politics, not who to support, but how power actually works, that is what this channel is built for. Subscribe, drop your take in the comments, and I will see you in the next Pivot Report. Till then, thanks for watching. Bye.